What do you want to play in Christopher Nolan's Bond movie? Is playing a character through 3 movies that is wearing a bag over his head more or less fun than it appears? Is it just about what I would expect it to be?
I think it got progressively more bag heavy as the trilogy went on.
It's masochistic. He's just like, let's really put him to the test.
Yeah, I wear a bag on my head in Inception quite a bit as well.
There's water involved too.
Yeah, off a bridge with a bag on my head into the water.
He's confusing you with Tom Hardy, who likes to have his face covered.
He really enjoys it. I mean, every actor loves a mask, I suppose, but
right.
4 movies. I do remember when he called me up for Dunkirk. That was the first question I asked him.
First of all, I'm glad to see you here. You looked so sickly on screen. I'm sorry. I wanted to give you a sandwich through the whole runtime.
We all did. We all did. We were all in New Mexico, like eating quesadillas, and he was like in his room eating an almond.
By the way, he declined every dinner invitation for the entire film. We invited him to dinner every night. He never came once.
I mean, that's a commitment to craft, though. It's a commitment.
The only thing Chris would do by text is his daily calorie count.
Oh my God.
This is a peculiar way that Chris works. You don't see a frame of the film while you're shooting. There is no video village, there's no monitors, there's no playback, which is weirdly liberating. You know, you're never reflecting, you're just moving forwards all the time. So I hadn't seen a frame of the film except for that little teaser that you guys put out, and then I saw the movie. How do I kind of phrase this properly? It was absolutely staggering. I found it absolutely staggering, and it was like I was kind of emotionally winded. You know, I mean, it's not great looking at yourself, but you can get over that when the film is as brilliantly constructed and made as this film is.
For somebody who does not like to see themselves on camera, how are you going to watch this movie?
I don't know if there's many actors who like looking at themselves on camera. Maybe I'm wrong. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I was completely knocked out. I was completely kind of emotionally winded by the whole experience. It does leave you kind of in tatters, you know.
Yep, it sure does.
Yeah.
It is a defining collaboration with Christopher. It started on Batman.
Yeah.
You were a fan of his work, I know,
Yes.
prior.
Yeah.
Did the man you met match the guy you had in your head? Like, did you have preconceived notions of what this guy was going to be based on Following, Memento, etc.?
Yeah, I'd seen Memento and Insomnia, and then I went back and watched Following in that order. I didn't know he was going to be so English. I didn't.
Talking about tea or talking what are we talking about?
The whole package. But you know, because he also has an Irish passport as well. You should ask him about that. So he has English and
He's
American.
a true James Bond. He can travel the world.
He can. I was, you know, struck immediately by, I guess, his brain.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of phenomenal. Chris's the way of operating is that he just calls you out of the blue. I think you enjoy that. Certainly for me, it just came completely out of the blue. And Emma called me and then put me on to Chris, and he said he was making a movie about Oppenheimer, and he said, I'd like you to play Oppenheimer, and I had to sit down, and it was kind of overwhelming.
Which is a fun way to do it, but it means that in the future it's very difficult for me to call you to go out to dinner or something.
What's the worst note a director has ever given you?
A director once asked me, am I a good director? So, I mean, that's the end of the relationship then.
They're looking for validation from
the actor, the director.
This goes the other way, buddy.
Yeah. We're the needy ones.
Yes. Didn't they teach you anything in directing school?
Yeah, you need to make me feel good about myself all day long and bring me things like tea. Yeah. Oh, I'm less sophisticated. I'm more like a dirty old pint of Guinness.
Yeah. Not dirty though. You want the smooth top.
It's just a figure of speech.
Right. The lipstick rim around the glass.
How much of what you wrote on the chalkboard do you actually understand?
You know, I was talking to Matt Damon about this because he had to do very similar equations in Good Will Hunting, and it becomes kind of like hieroglyphics, you know?
Yep.
It was very satisfying to do it and very satisfying to learn it by rote. I had a vague conceptual kind of understanding of what I was doing, but I remember the first time I got to write the equation, I'd been practicing for months and months and months, and then Chris just turned the camera on me and not on the board, so you know.
Ah, all of that work.
Exactly.
So, are you of the mind though, like, because there have been different roles that, obviously we talked about Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow, that you reprised, like, is it, as an actor, is it easier to say goodbye definitively to a role, or to always kind of have that door open? You know, we've talked before, 28 Days Later keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Always come up until Alex and Danny and you say, no more.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, is that door still ajar?
Oh, it's certainly for me. I mean, I'd love to do, I think it would have to be 28 years later at this stage, really.
We're getting closer
to get, yeah,
oh,
to get away
we're all
with
feeling
it.
a little old now.
Yeah, I think realistically, because that movie, God, when did that 2000 that came out?
right?
Yeah. So.
Oh wow, yeah, we're not so far off.
No, we're not that far off. I'd love to. But that's not an exclusive or anything. I think you know, there needs to be a script, and Danny needs to find the time, and Alex needs to feel that there's more story to tell. But again, that is a movie I watched with my kids not too long ago, and I feel that one, you know, it's aged well, or not aged at all, whatever the correct expression is.
I was going to ask about your kids' appreciation of your work, because I've had this conversation with many actors, and usually it's like they're the last people to appreciate their own parents' work. Are they, so they can appreciate, it would be tragic if they were the only kids that can enjoy Christopher Nolan's Batman films, for instance.
Yeah, they're getting a bit older now. They have very sophisticated taste, so that, you know, they don't go searching for my films. But if one turns up, or they love, like, Quiet Place 2, for example, they love that movie. But I think it's much healthier if your kids are underwhelmed by what you do, no matter what it is. I think that's, you know, that's a healthy dynamic.
Too much hero worship is a little
problematic. Yeah, you don't need that.
And so you don't have to worry about that.
No, I definitely don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I remember seeing Interstellar in the IMAX on my own, and I just remember coming out like in a terrible state. Just it was so emotional, and you know,
Did
my
no
kids
one else
were
want to watch it with you? Did you?
I love escaping from the house.
Okay.
My kids were little, but you know, it's so emotional, that movie, that it always gets me. That movie every time. You always hope that there's one film you make that touches someone and kind of speaks to them directly, and that can be held up as a work of art. If you could do one of those, I'd be very proud.
What do you want to play in Christopher Nolan's Bond movie? Do you want
I'm not James Bond, man. That ship has sailed, shall we say? Yeah.
You could be anything. You could be Q. You could be M. You could be the bad guy.
Let's see what Chris comes up with.
Okay. Fair enough.
If you guys could go back in time and spend a day with anyone from history, who would you choose?
I know.
Go for it.
It would be John Lennon for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a great
I'd
shout.
like to hang out with him.
That was a good one.
Obsessed.
Maybe
with
mine,
him.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yes. We could have a jam.
Yeah.
4 of us.
Yeah. You can wear your cardigan.
All right. Maybe I'll embellish it with some, like,
No.
just plain
Just for
navy cardigan.
Yeah, perfect.
Fair enough.
That would be quite a good tea time, though.
Yeah.
It would be a great high tea.
Yeah.
Is there like an actor that you grew up with, like that you are now consider a peer, that it makes you giggle in a way as a schoolboy to see them like pop up on your phone? You get a text from, like, I don't know, Gary Oldman, like, how does Gary Oldman, how am I an acquaintance of Gary Oldman, that kind of a thing.
Well, Matt Damon, you know, I've admired his work since even before I was an actor. And not only his work, but also I admire his values as a human being.
Yes.
And so we got to work on Oppenheimer, and now his company AE have just produced a movie.
I noticed that, yeah.
That I produced and acted in, which was written by Enda Walsh. So that's kind of a lovely, lovely feeling. And I really, really admire the sort of value of their studio, you know, of AE. Because it's artist-led, which I think is really exciting for the industry. Irish people are terrible at giving and receiving compliments.
I think we are too, by the way, with Treadwell.
Listen, I got to work with Florence on this, and she's just a stunning, stunning, stunning actor. And that's the thing that struck me most. And, you know, it's her presence on screen and in person. And we also had a good laugh, you know, we had good chats, I remember.
because it was kind of mostly us. You know, we didn't really interact with other characters, so I really enjoyed working with her. I've loved watching her work, you know, over the years.
What's the wallpaper on your phone, Cillian?
Oh, I just gone totally minimalist, black, like took everything off. Yeah, it's like, it's just, even all of the apps, they're all just black. So it's none of that stupid childish, like, Apple phone color thing. It's just black.
Wow, you're dark period, you're black
like a nihilist.
What precipitated this rough day? What just happened?
It's just it's not less nihilism, more minimalism.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean?
Cutting out the noise a little
bit,
right?
So and I turn off an awful lot of notifications. So it's just a black blob.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone calls me Kill always, and if people call me Cillian, I get nervous. So everyone calls me Kill.